The Power AirFryer Pro, or in this case, the AirFryer Pro XLT, I've been using this thing for over a year, almost a year and a half. Converted from the NuWave oven over to this, even though I still use my NuWave for things like baking. And it's arguable which one is better. I'll do another video on that. But the reason we're here today is to talk about the bulb. This has a bulb, and when you open the door, it's supposed to light up in there. But mine quit lighting up, and that's why it's partially disassembled. This is the bulb. First, needed to identify what bulb it was. Well, first get to it, then identify what bulb it was, and it actually was not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. So here's what I had to do to get this taken apart. Step one, and the most tedious step. And you see I've already got it removed. This top cover. And this top cover has 6 tabs. 3 on the front, 3 on the back, and 2 on the sides. They go down into corresponding spots on the top of the unit. Let me see if I can raise this camera just a bit. There we go. Not only a better view, but added some lighting to see. Here are the spots, the 3 on the front and the 3 on the back, the 2 corresponding sides. This cover is actually pliable. When it's on the unit, it looks like it's going to be a good solid piece, but it's semi-translucent. See my hand moving behind it there? And the tabs. There are front tabs and back tabs. You'll see that there's a little lip on these front ones, and the back ones just slide down in there. And the front spots correspond to those little press-in lips. So what I did, and I'm not going to press this down in here, because this is the tedious part of the removal. Part that kind of cringes me, because I don't know if you can tell, this is over a year and a half old, and it's still so shiny. Nice and new looking. I try to keep my stuff clean and nice working. So what I had to do, oh, this is the wrong one, with a flathead Phillips screwdriver, I went to the front corner and I pressed in, because there's a little gap that runs around the edge of this. I went in and I pressed forward, and I popped up until this front tab popped up. And then I did the same thing on the other side. I went to the back, I wedged in, and I popped up on the corners, then on the sides, and I was able to pull this up until just the front tab was holding. Then I manipulated it with the screwdriver in at the angle until this popped off. That's how you remove it. So just take a flat, well, again, I grabbed the wrong screwdriver, take a flat blade screwdriver, press it in, and push up, and it will unseat this tab. These pop out. Once that is done, lay this off to the side. The control module has 4 screws. These 4 screws need to be removed. They're Phillips head, so I actually get to use the Phillips head this time. Remove the 4 screws. Once those screws are removed, this front panel will pop off. Actually pop it out. There are tabs around the entire edge of the panel that correspond with tabs on, I'll call this the hood, I don't know, the top plastic portion. And there is a connector on the inside that connects to this cable. It's just a basic little connector, pulls out, and that gets the front control panel off. Then just a matter of removing 4 screws to remove this top hood or top plastic piece. And those 4 screws are recessed, they're Phillips head. So you get your screwdriver down in there, remove them one at a time. And once those 4 are removed, this hood, might have to twist on it a little bit to get it to come up, but it pops right off. You can see, well, there's 2 of my screws there, but a little dirty there, I need to clean that. But you can see this just has some guide tabs that hold it in place. This back grill, nothing has to be removed there. That back grill just comes right off. It's just a vent for the fan. And there you have it. That opens things up. There's just one more step to get to the bulb. And the bulb is located on the back left corner. If you're looking at the front of the unit, so here's the front with the door. It's on the back left, and it's under this little plate here. There are 2 Phillips head screws, 1 on each side. I've already removed them. So let me just pull this plate up and out of the way, and there you can see those 2 screws. This cover plate out of the way, and there, a little shadow here, but there is the bulb. Just pulls out in this little weighted block, an insulator block. get my gloves on for this part. I actually pulled this out already. This block sits down in here, and here's the bulb, and it's just in these two little tabs. I can get it back in. And it just sits in there. And then down in the block, and it just pulls straight out. But here's the bulb. I've came to the conclusion this is the closest, but you can see it's still wider. Still wider, however, this is a T4 as well. They have T3, T4. I tried a T3, but they're tiny. I also purchased this G8, the T4 G8, which is a little shorter, but the posts are closer together. I don't know how well this shows up. The posts are closer together, but that's xenon, and this is a halogen, so I'm going to go with this because there's something that I discovered. So the original bulb I'm going to put right here. I also want to mention I called. On the back of the Power Air Fryer Pro manual, there's a phone number to call, and I called this number. They told me that they didn't make this bulb, so they couldn't tell me what size. Well, this is the replacement. That they didn't make this bulb, so because they didn't make it, they couldn't tell me what size it was. And had no availability to even order this bulb. Said I could order some other parts, but not the bulb. So I'm going to take this bulb, the new one, so you can see it's wider. But because of the way this base works, it's kind of fluted out. I can kind of bend them in there and actually get this down in there. And I think that may work. And as you can see, it fits down in here with plenty of clearance. So I think this may work, but I'm gonna hook some of this back up first and plug it up just to see if I get a light when I open the door. Okay, here goes nothing. Let's try to open this and see. Oh, look, I have a light. Time to button this back up. This cover that goes on the light, there is a step down. This little step down part, it goes on the back and it keeps that block in place. So just kind of maneuver around the wires there. And it goes in place, and I can now tighten down these two screws. Hope this is showing up on camera for you. And these two screws from the factory were pretty loose. So I'm just gonna kind of, something just to hold that light bulb in there. So that's the light bulb cover. All my wires, I haven't moved any of this. The only other wire I have is this lead for the control panel. But first, I want to put this cover back on. But I remember there was just a little bit of muck down in there. Just, I guess, vapors from cooking steaks and things like that, which I cook a lot on this. Again, I'll make another video talking about how well this works. I'm going to clean this up really quick. One other thing I want to mention, I noticed one video, a guy disassembled a very similar oven to this. I think the keypad was slightly different, but was for all practical purposes the same oven. He had plastic bits all up in the top. I didn't have any of that. Get this. Still got a little moisture on the outside there. I wiped down the inside well. And what I'm doing here, just want to make sure that I get these tabs. You see that little tab right there? It goes into that recess. I'll just check all the way around, make sure everything is down. And once I tighten these 4 screws down, it's going to pull this. It's going to be seated perfectly well. Everything clipped into place there. I'm going to open my door. And now, this is a magnetic screwdriver. That comes in handy big time for things like this. I'm just going to tighten this down. Doesn't have to be tight. This isn't rolling down a street or anything like that. Well, I say it doesn't have to be tight. I mean, it needs to be tight, as in snug down tight. Just, this is plastic into plastic, or metal screws actually into plastic. So what I'm looking for is this, it just doesn't rattle around. It stays in place. There's that. Now I'm going to connect my control panel, and this may be tricky camera angle wise. See if I can get this Yeah, you can see. Just plug that in, clips in place. And this is going to push in. There's tabs on the side that has to go in, so I'm pressing in there. There are tabs on the bottom, I've lined those up. And I'm just pushing into place. And there are 4 screws, 4 tiny little screws that go in these 4 screw holes. Again, I'm reversing the process that I took it apart in. And that's the top, or what I call the hood. And then the actual top, this thing, this translucent top. Now remember, there are tabs for the back and tabs for the front. Ones that go on the back have the hole, the ones that go on the front have a little notch. Tab that kicks out here. Well, you can see that. But the hole, look for the hole in the back. That sits down. I'm just going to press this into place. And there we go. Plugged in and light. Look at that. And I clean this regularly. I always wrap this in aluminum foil. Again, I'll do a full review on this. I need to, because I've used it for over a year, like I said, a year and a half. And see, there's one little, I'll show you this. I'm a particular person, and you see, it's what I don't like about designs where there are only tabs and you have plastic on plastic. As careful as I was, I even used something under the screwdriver blade. See a little notch there? That's the only one I see. Just a little notch. But at least I have my light. I'll take that little one divot to have my light back. I don't realize how handy that comes in handy, especially if you've had a NuWave and you don't have a light. But I'll do the comparison video between the NuWave and this, because there are pros and cons to both. But this, good enough that I've used it, like I said, for a year, over a year, almost a year and a half. That's how you do it, the quick and easy way to get this disassembled. Remember, screwdriver under the edges, pry up, 4 screws along the top here, and then 4 screws to pull the hood off. Then you can get to that light, which is hid way up there. Thanks for watching KevReviews and this tutorial. I hope this helped you out. If you were like me, didn't know how to do this, be sure you subscribe to KevReviews if you haven't already, and also check out my sister channel, the main channel. For me, Kev Central, this is its sister channel, and I also have stickers available. Put a link down in the description, t-shirts, the whole works. I hope you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you have that notification bell active. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.